Hey everyone, we're just letting everybody into the Zoom room right now. Just give me a couple minutes to let everybody into the room. While we're doing that, if anybody has any wins for the week, we certainly love to hear what those wins are, if you had any. Looks like Larry, you're on, and looks like Jeff is coming into the room. I don't see any other actual agents. It's all AI bots coming into to the room right now.
They're just learning so
So
they
we'll
can
just
take over.
give it a minute to see if anybody else jumps into the call. You guys hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Remember when the movie Terminator seemed so far-fetched? Now some of the stuff that AI, like it's learning faster than I'm like, oh, this is how that started. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I just got off the phone with Latonya and Katrina though. They're back at work doing their thing, and everybody's safe down in Atlanta area, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, the
But
Carolinas seem like the Carolinas just got crushed, especially like the western part of the state, which I mean they're not used to that,
No,
right?
I
Like
was
they're
totally shocked. I go through there all the time on my way to Florida. I don't go past Asheville. I mean, I go past Asheville, but it's way west of where 70. I drive down 77 through Charlotte. But yeah, that's incredible how they got hit. I mean, it's a shame, really. Makes
Yeah,
you
I
wonder.
believe. Like,
I'm up here in Pennsylvania.
I don't even think you can get to Asheville at this point in time, from what I'm seeing. I think
No, no,
all of the roads are gone that lead into Asheville, which is crazy.
yeah, absolutely crazy. So, well, whoever's on the call today, looks like Debbie Darwin came in. Whoever's on the call today will have us all to themselves. So we can, have a little bit of a mastermind here and ask any questions you guys have, or see where we're at with everything as far as Asian attraction goes. So, anything on your mind today, Debbie?
Always, but not right now.
Okay, okay, because you're the one and only. So I know it's kind of puts a lot of pressure on agents when they do come on these calls. So I gotta do a little better job promoting this. I have been having some pretty good attendance over the last month, but last couple calls haven't been as well attended. And I think last time we met 2 weeks ago, we talked about organizational structure of EXP and organizational structure of our group. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with an agent earlier today. This is somebody, actually Helen Marks is talking to, and I started going into different things, and I said a couple things to the agent, and they're like, "Oh, that totally confuses me." So I just really need to also learn to just simplify it. I guess I guess what I'm saying is there's stages for agents to know information. The new agent, brand new. I mean, just got to keep it as simple as possible. We're a virtual brokerage with an organizational structure that has different pathways for income. And then once we start getting into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of what we do, then we can start going into how our group operates, the different layers, and Jeff's group versus Larry's group versus Darren's group and my group. The Alliance group versus the Pathways group. Versus whatever REO Alliance, how that fits into the whole picture, how the asset management companies that we work with also fit into the mold. So I think today's theme could just be that simplification of our initial conversations, or how the conversations stack upon one another when we're starting to talk to agents. Is that maybe a direction we want to go today, or?
Well, I think that kind of piggybacks on something that we've been talking about for over a year and a half now, right? Is solving the problems that the agents need. And every agent is in a different point of their career, right? Like we had different conversations with Debbie Darwin than we did with like this brand new agent and stuff like that. For the brand new agent, right? Like they want to learn, like they don't care about revenue share and stuff. Oh, well, I'm not saying they don't care about it, but they're trying to figure out how do I pay my bills, right? Like, How do I keep food on the table? And so that should be the only thing that we focus on. Then once we get them producing and stuff there, right? Once they go through Joseph Limo's course or finish their mentor program or whatever it might be, I mean, we can ask simple questions. Hey, do you know anybody else that you would like to work with? Like, I would love to talk to them on your behalf because we have a lot more opportunities, right? Like, and we might just do something like that. And then when those agents come on, we put them underneath, that new agent. And now, like, I get calls that are like, hey, why did EXP deposit $526 into my bank account? Oh, remember when you introduced me to that agent? Well, we ended up bringing them over and this, right? And so every agent, right? Jeff is at a different place. Like you came over specifically just for rev share, right? Like that was, you weren't interested in increasing production or doing anything like that. You wanted to leverage your relationships with American Destiny and your position there and help Darren grow as you grew at the same time. So it's really important to solve the problems that the agent has and not just kind of go all over the place.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think a lot of times I do too much of the talking and not enough of the question, asking of the right questions. Although agents will sometimes go down rabbit holes that I don't want them to go down. It's like they start telling me about their life story, and that's not something that we're trying to solve on this call. We're just trying to get them, in front of the right people or the right opportunities. So, yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that approach. The agent I spoke with earlier today had been talking to another EXP group, and she said that group is totally different than your group. They're just focused on social media and like how to look good in front of a camera as a bunch of these young kids. And, the point she was making to me was that that's not her style.
Yeah.
But the other part of it too was that, hey, that might be working for some agents. So that might be getting them in front of potential clients or getting them more business. So don't necessarily, negate it, but it doesn't also have to be your focus. The focus of what we have going on is certainly in the REO space, but we can certainly do things in other parts of real estate that matter just as much. So, and I see Framika joined us on the call today. So Framika's a newer agent down in the Atlanta area who's on fire. Good to see you,
Yes.
Framika. I
Good to
think you
see
have an
you
asset
all.
with us. I think you got an asset with us already, didn't you?
Yes.
Good.
Two of them currently. I'm turning
Oh,
in my
I
BPO
do.
now, ready to get going.
yeah.
Woo!
Good part of the country
Nice.
to be in right
Uh,
now.
I do
Ramika,
agree.
oh,
I do agree with what Larry said. I think for me, even though I've been in business for many, many years, coming on to EXP was pretty overwhelming. Because everything is thrown at you and you're just not certain about where you need to be or what you need to do. So I think anybody coming into EXP knew, um, yeah, we need to find out what they're looking for, what their interest is, buyers, sellers, helping them set up maybe a presentation. Because this is all online. We don't really have offices that they can mingle with other people. So I think it's really important we focus on what their needs are, and what they don't understand maybe.
Yeah,
yeah.
agreed. It's funny too, you mentioned about the in person. I hadn't met you, Debbie, but whenever I met you initially, in person, it's like I had known you. It's like it's so strange. It's the Zoom and the Google Meet it's not the same, but it's not too far from reality. Just like with Jeff and Larry, I've only met you guys twice, but I really feel like I know more about you because we're on so many of these Zoom calls. And for Mika, were you in Dallas? I don't even know. Were you in Dallas or no? I don't think you were you? Yeah, but I feel like you were. It's like that connection that we're making with agents, and it's almost it's seamless. So it looks like Sean jumped on today too. So if again, today's open discussion, open forum. If you guys have questions, want to draw
I,
role play.
I have a question for Nika. I know that she's relatively new to our group. From Nika, did you come over from Keller Williams? Am I remembering that correctly?
Actually, I came over from Compass.
From Compass. Okay. And so why did you come over?
Hmm. Well, I did the REO portion did attract me.
Uh-huh.
I've done REOs probably, for the last 12, 15 years or so, and I had stopped doing them for a while. And so that I was interested in, doing something different, or getting back to doing something different. And I just needed to change, to be honest. And it was time. I've been with Keller Williams for over like 10 years prior to going to Compass. So
Okay.
just wanted to do something different. And I was like, okay, let me explore my options and see.
And then you came over under Latanya, is that correct?
I did, correct. Uh-huh.
Next time you see her, ask her about her fake Gucci belt. And then on a side note, no, I'm kind of joking about that. You can really do that. It'll be really funny. But on a more serious note, right? Like, look at what happened, right? Like you came over from Compass. I'm assuming
Hmm.
you have at or a better split than Compass. I know it's a lower cap because Compass doesn't have that cap in place, and you have
Exactly.
two listings at this point. That is a
Yeah.
powerful story, right? Debbie
Right.
Darwin, right? Like, I mean, in the first year, right? I mean, I know we're into double digit assets and sales and stuff like that. And we haven't even got started, right? All of
Mm.
these things. I know Sean has two properties in Los Angeles. That's unheard of, right? Like if
Right.
you talk to other REO agents in Los Angeles, there's nothing. Now, two is not as many as like our Atlanta group, but it's two that most people don't have at this point in time. So a
Right.
big part is connecting with people and just telling your story, right? Like for those of you guys that are going to Tony Robbins, you will see he is the best storyteller I've
Mm.
ever heard in my entire life. Same thing if you look at some of these mega churches, the Joel Osteens and stuff like that, right? They are great storytellers and are able to be relatable to others, even though like they don't live that same lifestyle, right? Like, I mean, they're like, but they're relating to everybody through these stories and stuff. And we have to be able to tell our story on how this opportunity changed your life, especially coming into this downturn of a market that
Right.
will be a downturn. And that's where our group should grow tenfold as long as we're under promising, over delivering, right? People come to me and they're like, well, how much business are you going to guarantee me? I'm not going to guarantee you anything because you can't guarantee me that you're going to knock it out of the park every single time, that the asset managers are going to love you, that you don't misunderstand anything, right? Our relationships can open a lot of doors. Our performance keeps us in and gives us second chances and stuff like that. But it's about how we handle this and perform. So with that, right, you have two listings, leverage that, market, advertise, open houses, start building if you don't want to do open houses, get other people to do them, right? And that gives you a chance to build relationships with other agents. We need to take this next 4 to 8 years to set up the rest of our lives, guys. That is the opportunity that we have at hand.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I like the storytelling approach for sure.
Larry, I don't know if you remember this, but my reason for coming over here was kind of silly when I think back, but Larry had this little, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but I'm not sure how he did it, but he made it so I showed up on the first page of Google. And I was like, that's how he got my attention. I was like, holy crap, this is cool. So I went in for that and the other big thing, well, that got me to open up my mind enough to go to a lunch and learn, right? But then at the lunch and learn, I saw that, oh, we do have offices. We've got a partnership with Regis. That was one of my objections why I didn't want to come to EXP, because they didn't have offices. Well, we do have offices. In fact, it's better than offices. It's offices with entrepreneurs that aren't realtors that I can get business from, right? So there was that, and then there was KV Core, or actually at the time it was Sync, Commissions Inc. And I was paying, because I had a team of 15, I was paying like thousands of dollars a month for that. And I mean, the fact that I opened my mind and went to that lunch and learned all that. I mean, on the way, I don't even think I had started my car yet when I got to the parking lot, but I was calling Larry saying I'm in.
And that
So,
was a great call. I mean, think about that, right? Like it changed both of our lives indefinitely, just in the last 5 years. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never been able to say that about another brokerage. And so
yeah.
that is the beautiful piece, right? Like I'm helping Jeff grow, I'm helping Eric grow, they're helping me grow. And this is where it's really unique to be able to collaborate that. And we're building a community. And not everybody's right for this community. And some people say they want to be a part of it. But I mean, look at this. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, there might be 8 people on this call, right? Like, how bad do you want to be a part of this, right? Like, we have to lean in and use the resources and stuff like that. When they're available. So I absolutely love it. Thank all of you guys for everything that you do.
That's like Debbie said, there's so much out there. You just have to, as an agent, you just have to engage and learn what tools are out there available to you. And then you decide which ones you're going to put in your toolbox, in your tool belt, right? There's no way you can do it all. I mean, there's just way too much, which is a great thing, but you've got to decide, what's important to you and what do you want? What's your business plan, right? I think Joseph Limo talked about it on his call yesterday or today, whenever that was. I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
You gotta have your business plan and you do you, right? But EXP's got all the tools and then some to do these things. I just got an email. I get emails from EXP all the time with readmittance. They're depositing money in my account, and I'm like, oh, what's this for? Right? This I just came across my desk just now. It was a referral. I have $5,000. I have no idea what referral, like, because it just happens so often because we're just so aligned and so collaborative, this company and the referral networks. I mean, there's just so much opportunity. It's insane. So like
I,
Larry
I think
said,
that was meant for me, Jeff. I think they put the
yeah,
wrong name on that check.
maybe. I honestly don't remember referring, but apparently we did at some point. So, but just so many opportunities here for all of us. It's just amazing. I still
Yep.
get goosebumps talking about EXP. It's freaking unbelievable. I've been here going on 7 years now.
Yeah, one of the comments the agent made to us today, Helen and I, this agent had a three-way call, and she couldn't believe how much we collaborate, how much we're sharing information amongst each other. She says where she's at in New Jersey, or no, she's in Maryland. It's like, pulling teeth to get, somebody to answer a question or to find find something out, especially in this space, the REO space, because people are so protective of their territories. But I sent her the link to the YouTubes and she's watched some of our YouTubes and it's like, wow, I can't believe, people actually share. They actually want people to do better. And I said, well, it's because, we have vested interest in everybody, but also we're not really competing against each other. That's what's nice about a nationwide or even a global type scenario where you can have agents thousands of miles away from you doing the same type of work, but you're learning from them, they're learning from you. It's just it's total collaboration. So glad to see
Even
that.
when they are in the same markets, on my huddle today, I'm not sure if you were there, Eric, but when they were talking about this, but I think it was Angela was talking about there's 3 people from Washington, all EXP, all in the same group organization, and they were all just getting along, and they're all, they're each other's competition, but yet they're still, collaborating and helping one another. And I feel like that's just the EXP theme. I mean, we're all shareholders, even if we're in a different group or a market. So the better we all do, the better the company does. And then high tides raise all ships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have about 10 minutes left. Anything else? Is anybody out, Famika, Debbie, Sean, you guys have any questions that you wanted to get answered directly, or do you want to just go into a little bit more of a dialogue?
One thing real quick I want to add, just real before you go and ask that, and that's, a lot of people have, what do I say to people when I talk to them, agents, and, I don't want to do all the talking. For me, grow. Goals, ask them about their goals, get them to talk about themselves. What are your goals? And O stands for, or I'm sorry, R stands for reality. Okay, what's the reality? I know you want to make $1 million a year, but what's the reality? What are you doing? And so that's the R. And then the O is opportunity, right? What are the opportunities? And then what's your way forward? Your way forward is could be EXP, but that's what you got to figure out with that person you're talking to, and show them, because you find out about their struggles and what they're struggling with, right? And then you have to know a little bit about EXP. That's important, right? But then oh, we've got Renovos, or we've got all these different things that can help you grow your business, right? Without spending any money. So that's my method. I love the grow routine, and it's worked well for me.
I have to remember that. I always forget, but yeah, that's definitely a way to keep track of your conversation. Let's see, Sasha's looking to join the group, so we'll see if she has any questions. But any other questions or comments from anybody while we're still moving along today? Let me check the chat. What'd you guys put in the chat here?
I just put
that's
two ears in my mouth, and what I mean by that, as I've heard Jesse Zavarsky say that all the time, and it's when you're talking to somebody, stop and let them talk, because you find out so much information, and a second or two or three of silence is okay, right? A lot of people feel like they have to fill that in, but I've learned that, especially in negotiating, if I just zip it and let them talk, I'll find out so many things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I just let them talk and regurgitate all that stuff that they probably shouldn't have shared with me. That's a negotiation, but in attracting, they're gonna feel like the more that they get to talk, and the fact that you're listening, like on a listening appointment, repeating what they said, acknowledging what their challenges, those things really get people to engage with you and like with you and walk away from that conversation and say, wow, that Eric, man, I had such a great conversation with him. He really cares about people, right? And he does, but it really shows when you do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. For some of the newer agents on the call, like from Mika, especially, one of the basics that we always talk about with attraction is the pillars of how to start. And the first thing is to schedule your time each week you're gonna spend on this, whether it's going to be an hour a week or two or three, and just have a dedicated time each week so that on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock you're going to be reaching out to your sphere. And the second part of that is having your sphere. And that sphere could be any real estate agent you've ever met in your lifetime. It could be people across the country. It could be people in your market. But it's really important to get that list started, because if you don't have a starting point, then you really don't have something that you don't have there's always a start, change, and stop with every activity. So you have to have that start, and then the change is just making the calls, and the stop is the close, where they've actually made the decision to become part of our group. And it's most cases it's going to be a great decision for them. We hope so anyhow. But that's the first, the starting point is getting that list together and getting it on paper, not just in your head, but actually physically getting it on paper, and then just expanding that list. Every time you close a deal with another agent, if you've been in the business for 10 years and you did 10 deals a year, I mean, that's what's 10 times 10, that's 100 agents that you've encountered over the last 10 years. And if it's 20 deals a year in 20 years, that's 400. So it's, the more people you've done closings with, or you've had interaction with, those are the people you want to be reaching out to. But having that dedicated time, and every week spending that dedicated time on this part of your business, because it really is, it can add easily $500 a month to your business, easily. It could be as much as 50,000 a month. I don't know that any of us on this call are there, but there are people in the organization who are there. But it could be a car payment, it could be a house payment, it could be a boat payment, it could be your kid's TAP account. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. So one of the things Larry always talks about, talks about a lot, but is the why. Why do you want to have that extra income? For Jeff, obviously, it's his airplane. But for me, it's travel. Never want to be tied to. I used to be tied to an office. I could never leave for more than a week at a time. I didn't want that any longer, so I decided to make a change, and that's my why. And, we all have our whys, but this is a great opportunity, so don't pass it by, especially when you have so many agents who are hurting right now, who just don't have the business they used to. And I can't tell you how many times I hear, "Oh, I used to carry such and such number of assets. Oh, I used to have so many closes a year." But those days aren't, that's the past, My wife does this all the time. She focuses on the negative things that have happened. Well, what about the positive things? Let's focus on the future. So
As good as your last deal.
absolutely, absolutely. So all right, well, we have 4 minutes left. Sasha, anything you wanted to ask about? I saw you jumped in and you were on vacation for a while. We missed you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, yesterday, it was an agent reach out to me. She's from Virginia, Richmond. She asked if I can take a new agent, but I didn't know how it works. I mean, she already signed them up. So I guess, in this case, I have to be mentor because this person live in Orange County, which is 30 minutes away from me, and they require someone speak Vietnamese and some Chinese, which I do, but I don't know how it works, in terms of splitting. Um, I really don't know. I haven't done that before, so that's my
I think
question.
Jeff, I think Jeff could speak more to this, but you want to, I would focus on your business rather than being a mentor. I mean, you could be a mentor, but I would mentor your
Yeah, I mean,
people.
someone brand new, I really don't want to.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
going to be worth your
Unless
time
unless it's my
investment.
my sponsor, direct sponsor, then yes, but even
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I would agree with that.
there are people out there that just like to be a certified mentor is the official word for EXP here. Um, I personally am a certified mentor, as is Kelly. We made the decision. I made the decision to only mentor people in our group, right? Because we're mentoring them anyway, right?
Right,
So
right.
why not just have them come under us? They've got to close 3 transactions with their mentor at EXP if they haven't closed a transaction in the last 12 months. So, it's a requirement for EXP Realty. It's a great requirement because it makes sure that we don't have agents going out there and fumbling and making our brand look bad, right? But
Mhm.
at the same time, like I said, there's people that like to do it. So if someone's outside of my organization, I don't, well, I don't want to get into the woods with it, but basically I don't do those. I only do agents within our group. And if you've got people in your own organization, Sasha, I would, consider getting certified. That way, what you don't want to happen is you don't want that agent in your group to have a
Mhm.
certified people that's outside of your group, right? Because then it kind of clashes and it doesn't really work well.
So what do you mean I should become a mentor once I qualify to mentor our own hierarchy? I mean, people under, or we sponsor direct, right?
I'm just
So
saying that I suggest that you get certified so that you can mentor people that are in your own organization directly under you.
Okay.
And
Well,
just to be clear on the process, I did this myself. It took me a day and I was certified. You just have to show them your transactions, your history, that you upload a bunch of stuff. And there's a checkbox on the form. Do you want to mentor only people in your organization? Click yes. That way the EXP won't send you other people in California. But I encourage anybody who's building a group underneath them to become a mentor because just the reasons why Jeff said. If they're brand new or they don't have a transactional history, you don't want them with another agent being mentored because our group is very specific in how we handle certain types of business. Now, if
Hmm.
you're not well versed in REO and you want another person to help mentor an REO, we're trying to set that up as well. But I think you'd be fine with that, Sasha. You have enough experience. But anyhow, yeah, I would definitely recommend taking the probably half an hour to an hour it's going to take to go on to the men. And I sent you the link today, so I would just
Yes,
do it.
yes. Hmm.
And
Okay.
I recommend that for Sean, Debbie, Famika. It's so easy to do. I would just do it. And I've been a certified mentor for a year. They've never bugged me about doing anything. Um, I think you have to do some recertifications every so often, but it's pretty simple.
and it's also cool to be able to put, certified mentor on your business card, right? Because to a consumer, they look at you as, a trainer, right? So would you rather hire a realtor or an agent or a an agent that's a trainer that trains other agents, right? I use that all the time in my listing appointments. I'm a broker and I train and mentor agents all over the country, 350 agents all over the country.
Yeah, I like that. So, well, I'm gonna wrap things up. Last questions, I'll spend some more time if you guys need it, but last questions for the day, and then we'll do this again next week. But any other questions for you guys?
I have a quick question, Eric. So what do you all do? So say if like an agent is already an EXP agent, and they're trying to come under you all, do you all have that issue happening quite often or?
It happens every so often. I mean,
Okay.
that was the decision they made to go with that group. There's not really much we can do about it. Now, if you set yourself up as a team, and you have agents with different commission structures on a team type scenario, you could capture some production from them that way. But in a rev share scenario, it's really not going to really help you at all. But there are some teams, that attract other EXP agents from different parts of the country or regions. So that could be something you could talk about if you have a lot of people coming to you asking about that.
Okay.
And that's going to probably happen more and more in the future because there's more and more EXP agents, and they joined a group that maybe they weren't. They got sold on the group because of whatever, and it wasn't really all that they thought it was. And the rule with EXP is if you do leave EXP, you have to wait 6 months to join back up again, which isn't something we promote or tell people they should do. We just basically, whatever their decisions are. But if you want to go that team route, that's something we could talk about.
We do have a lot of people that are like I get calls that are like, Larry, I think I screwed up. And I'm like, I know, right? Like, I know you did. Like, I told you this was going to happen. How do I switch? I was like, I mean, literally the only option, and I can't advocate for this, is that you leave EXP for 6 months and you come back. Otherwise, I'm like starting to put together some teams and stuff in different areas and stuff right now. But first step is that, we're hitting all of our personal production goals. Then we can focus on the growth and expansion part. And those are one-off scenarios. Most of the time, we manage to the rule and not to the exception. So that's going to be a case-by-case basis. Do you want them on your team, right? Like, are they a good fit? There's so many things to that. But it is an uphill battle if they choose a different group at the end of the day.
Yeah, and honestly, it's only come up with me twice in the last 2 years. So Larry's right. It's a one-off. It's not going to come up all the time. Of course, it will come up, since we just talked about it, it'll come up a few more times. But yeah, focus on those people at Compass that you worked with in the past. And there's a few other agents in the area that you might reach out to. Atlanta is growing though with EXP. So I wouldn't wait to have those conversations. Have them sooner than later, because you're going to find out that people are going to make the switch to another group because they were attracted to the glitz and glamour of that particular group. And we're not glitzy, we're not glamorous, but we're hardworking, productive agents, and we do have a lot to offer.
Except for Latanya. Except for Latanya. That one is glitzy and glamorous and bougie.
Yeah, I don't know how Latanya and Katrina are sisters. They're like so opposite ends of the spectrum. But
they talk about how their kids were born under the wrong parents, because Katrina's kid is like, like this, all like, hey, look at me. And then Latanya's kid is more like, they're like, man, I think our kids got switched up at birth. We don't know what happened here.
Yeah, Katrina's son is a broadcaster. He's like this up and coming news radio star, newscaster type person. So yeah, it's funny. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you guys roll today. I got a ton on my plate. Thanks for coming today. We did record this. I'll put this on the YouTube. And if you have any one-offs or any questions, you want to reach out to Jeff, Larry, myself, how to get in touch with us. Just go ahead and do that. We'll go from there.
Hey, Eric, Jason Hooley did ask if you could send him the recording. Because he was in a listing presentation.
Okay. I'll text it to him. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks,
okay.
brother.
Talk to you guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.